Hey everybody, welcome back. It's another episode of Jake Talks Star Wars, and today we're talking about Star Wars Rebels, Episode 11, Idiot's Array, Season 1, Episode 11, Idiot's Array. And this is a super fun episode because we get a new character. Not new to us, mind you, but new to the Rebels crew. And I remember, watching this on TV when it came out, and they had so many promos around this because it was such a big deal, because they introduced Lando into Star Wars Rebels. Lando Calrissian, right? Lando Calrissian himself, but he's not played by just some random voice actor. He's voiced by Billy D. Williams himself, which is just absolutely fantastic. It is so much fun to hear Billy D getting back into the swing of things as Lando. And he is just so Lando in this. That's really the only way I can put it. He encounters the Ghost Crew at a bar, go figure. He encounters the Ghost Crew while gambling, go figure. And the whole premise of the story is that they are Lando has won a card game against Zeb, and now they owe him, right? He has possession of Chopper technically through this card game, and so Lando hires the Ghost Crew to help him with a job, so they can get Chopper back and hopefully get paid. They get back to the ship, and Lando is just so perfectly smooth, and I love the way that all the different characters kind of react to him. You get Hera, who immediately cannot stand him, right? She is just immediately, she sees right through him. She's not having any of this nonsense. She's done. Like, almost as soon as he arrives, he's done. Zeb is annoyed. Well, Zeb is like annoyed, but also stressed out because this is all his fault. Kanan, kind of in the same boat. At first, Ezra doesn't seem to mind Lando so much until Sabine shows a lot of interest in Lando, because Lando is just so smooth and starts talking to her about his art. And if you ask me, maybe Lando's a little too smooth with Sabine, but hey, whatever. This is Lando we're talking about. So there's that. And then, of course, once Sabine starts showing Lando more attention, Ezra immediately doesn't like Lando anymore. Doesn't like Lando as much anymore. And I really like the dynamic there, where he's kind of thrown himself into this mix, and he keeps saying, like, hey, we can't be arguing. We got a mission to go on. And the sooner you guys finish this mission, the sooner you get your droid back and get rid of me. That's kind of his whole thing. He's kind of shanghaied these people into doing his bidding for him. When they get to the ship, to get this item that Lando needs, this mining equipment that Lando needs, he actually sells Hera to the guy. He sells Hera to this Asmorigan guy, giving her a hint about how to get away, right? But he doesn't tell her the plan ahead of time. He's just hoping she's going to keep up and improv with him along the way, which is really no plan at all. But that's kind of Lando for you. So he trades Hera away. Now, this is kind of dark, though, right? Because he trades Hera away, and in Star Wars canon, there is a tradition of Twi'leks being enslaved people, right? This happens in canon. It happens in the old expanded universe, where Twi'leks, male and female Twi'leks, are often enslaved in the galaxy. They're seen as enslaved for various reasons. Often pretty nefarious reasons. And it's suggested that Hera is as Morrigan is seeing her as enslaved for these even more nefarious reasons than just labor. So this is kind of dark. It's kind of a dark nod to that tradition that we see in the expanded universe and in canon, back in things like the Clone Wars. So kind of dark for a kids show, but again, kids wouldn't really pick up on it unless they're older and they've kind of watched and paid more attention, but still kind of dark, and kind of a dark nod to those earlier ideas that have existed for a while in Star Wars. He gets his mining equipment, And, Hera figures it out. She finds her way off the ship. She, understood what Lando was trying to say. She finds her way off the ship. They're all going to be reunited. And then, they get back on the planet, and there's a big shootout with Ezra again. We see Ezra's blaster in action, which is cool for the first time, because we had suspicions about why it was shaped the way it was, but now we know, which is kind of neat, which is kind of fun. But yeah, so interesting episode. Episode ends, the mining equipment was this big, silly puffer pig. That whole thing is played for a lot of gags. That's a lot of fun too. But the episode ends. Crew gets Chopper back. They kind of make amends with Lando by stealing a bunch of his fuel, which he pretends to be okay with. But yeah, episode's a lot of fun. Kind of a filler episode, I hate to say. It sets some things for the future, but a little bit of a filler. But still a lot of fun. Especially a lot of fun because we get Lando, we get Billy D. Williams back, which is great. But for me, when I was watching it, I wondered, some other canon questions, because you got Hera, you got Lando. Now, Hera stays in the Rebel Alliance, right? She continues to work in the Rebels. She continues to get, to be in the Rebel Alliance at large. And she is going to eventually become a general in the Rebel Alliance. At the time of either right at Endor or right after Endor, she becomes a general in the Rebel Alliance. And guess who else is a general in the Rebel Alliance at about the same time? That's Lando, right? Lando comes to the Rebel Alliance through Luke and Han and everybody else. And so you've got Hera and Lando both being generals at the same time in the same military structure. And I can't help but wonder what their conversations were like. I can't help but wonder what their working relationship was like, since this is their first interaction. That's just silly little stuff I wonder about. But who knows? Maybe we'll get to see that interaction someday. Maybe we have already and I've missed it and I haven't read it yet, or haven't seen it in a comic yet, or I missed it in a video game. But that's something I think it would be fun to explore in a short or in a comic or even in a book or something like that. That tension or that relationship that the two of them have. So always fun. Always looking for something fun, at least in that regard. So great episode, worth checking out. If you haven't watched it yet, go watch it. What are you doing watching these things for if you haven't watched Rebels yet? Go watch Rebels and then come back. If you have any questions, let me know. Hit me up in the comments below. You can also see me at Threads and at Instagram at Jake Talks Star Wars. And yeah, guys, thanks for coming by. Thanks for listening. I hope you all have a great day. Remember, take care of each other out there. And as always, may the Force be with you. Bye-bye.